Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a side-by-side comparison of a 12 by 12 paper pad and a 6 by 6 paper pad. I've seen them in Michael's years now anytime I go shopping, and I've always wondered what the difference between them were. I thought they were just the same exact designs but scaled down for the 6 by 6 or scaled up for the 12 by 12. But I mean, just on the cover, if you give it more than a cursory look, you can see what some of the differences are. So it's a lot of the designs, and it's also a lot of different stuff about the paper in and of itself. So throughout this video, I am going to flip through both paper pads, compare and contrast, and see what the difference in between them two are, and I'm going to show you. Now, I've already done some flip throughs of both of these pads individually, and you can see those on my channel. I actually just bought a ton of these, and I'm going to be flipping through them all this month, so stay tuned for that. But yes, so far what you can see is I am flipping through and I'm comparing. This is the same, these are the same things, but the difference are I don't think there's any gold gilding. So anytime you see something that's gold on the big paper pad, it is not gold on the little paper pad. In fact, there is no gold gilding anywhere in the little paper pad. Now, that could be a choice from Recollections or Michael's. I mean, that's just what they decided to do. Throughout the video, I'm going to be counting the designs, and you're going to see it on the side of the screen where I'm counting the designs. I will say that at first I did not realize that the only difference between some of these designs was going to be that some of them had gold and some of them didn't. Like even right here, you can see that some of these lights are gold, but on the smaller design, they are not. And I did not realize that, or make the connection that that was the case until maybe a little bit later, that one of the designs that I already passed by was in the small paper pad, but in the big paper pad it was all gold, and in the small paper pad it was actually a totally different color, but the design is the same. So I will go back and count that, but for now there are three like designs. Something else that I noticed within this paper pad is that, okay, in a 12 by 12 paper pad, you can get 4 6 by 6 pieces of paper. So I would think that for that design, that you would just get that one 12 by 12 paper pad sheet cut up in fours, and then they could put it in the 6 by 6. But no, it looks like someone literally like grabbed the corner and just scaled it down for that. So even, yeah, they grabbed the corner and scaled it down so that it could fit on that 6 by 6 page, which is kind of neat if you ask me. Now, I will say that kind of makes me think like you really need to know what your project is going to be when you choose a 6 by 6 or a 12 by 12 paper pad. Throughout this video, that's kind of what I want to go over. I want to see, as a crafter, which one would be better. Because again, I thought they were same exact designs. I thought you just had to, scale them down so it wouldn't really be much of a difference. And I am very much so finding out that that is not the case. So, like, what would be the difference? Which one would matter for you as a paper crafter? So far, like with the 12 by 12, the back isn't decorated. With the 6 by 6, the back is. You have two-sided paper. So does that matter to you? What would you use that for? Now, this stripe page is actually the first one from the small one that did not have a repeat. And I guess looking at it, I kind of know why. It would be kind of hard to replicate this on a small scale and it actually look like something. Like maybe if they did 5 or 6 of those stripe designs and put it on the small one, that would make sense. But so far, this isn't really looking like something that would be easy. Or maybe I'm the only person who sees this page and then cuts it apart. But yeah, this one, it just doesn't look like it would be eligible for the 6 by 6. It doesn't look like it would be a smooth, clean design on the 6 by 6. It would be way too small to see anything, especially with all those little lights that look like sprinkles already in the 12 by 12. So in a 6 by 6, they would definitely be negligible. So this is the first design that I didn't see repeated over there. So let's see. Something that I noticed that's consistent across both of the paper pads is that they both still have two of the same design. So this Christmas tree design, there are two Christmas tree designs on the 12 by 12, and there are two Christmas tree designs on the 6 by 6. And on the 6 by 6 they have the same back. So like the peppermint wishes on the 6 by 6 has, on both of the peppermint wishes on the 6 by 6 it has the same back on the 6 by 6. So that's at least consistent across both of them. Now, what I like, and here we go, like what I liked about this one is this was the night before Christmas. And so remember on the ribbon cut apart page, I said it might be too small on the 6 by 6. I take that back now because they wrote out the words to "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" on the 12 by 12 and scaled that down on the 6 by 6. So it's not that it's too small. I guess they just made the executive decision not to switch that one over. So yeah, I'll walk that back. Something else that I noticed is that this looks a little darker on the 6 by 6 than it does on the 12 by 12. Now that could be because, like I said, it seems like with these designs they just scaled them down. So maybe because it's more concentrated, it looks a little bit darker. But a couple of the other designs are like that as well. Like with this one, with the flowers in both of the corners and the stripes going through it, when you see it on the 6 by 6, it does look a little different. Now, maybe that's just an illusion or a visual illusion because these lines would be closer together on the 6 by 6, or yeah, they would be closer together on the 6 by 6, even though proportionately they're probably proportionate distance apart from the 12 by 12 and the 6 by 6. But yeah, again, it just looks a little bit more concentrated, so to the eye it kind of looks a little darker. But with this really, really busy design on the 12 by 12, one thing I didn't really notice when looking at it was that it was shaded darker in those corners. In the upper left and the lower right, it's shaded darker in those corners. And I guess maybe a little bit on all the corners, but those two corners that I specified especially. When you see it in the 6 by 6, you really notice that those corners are colored in, or you really notice that those colors are there. Like, at least with me, I can definitely tell, and I can definitely tell that it's shaded in a little bit more in those corners. So let's go over and see if we can find this Christmas tree design with all these multiple different colors. Yep, and here we go. So yep, it's there. So we're up to 16 designs so far, and only one of them that was in the 12 by 12, but not in the 6 by 6, which is interesting. Here we go, another candy cane one. Oh, now these tags. What's interesting to this is I'm not sure if they will count it as a separate design or not, because in the 12 by 12, you see there are 15 tags. So on the 6 by 6, there are not. And I'm actually going to point through all the tags that are similar or that are the same in the 12 by 12 as they are in the 6 by 6. So yes, I'm going to count this as a design, or as at least as a design that they share. But again, they don't have all the same exact tags. And again, that'd be kind of, well, I'm not going to say impossible, because I've seen where in the other one they did the ribbon cut apart and they didn't shrink that one down, but for other ones they did. So we have 6 tags on the 6 by 6 and 15 on the 12 by 12, and some of them are the same and some of them didn't make the cut. So but I would still say the tags on the 6 by 6, the tag in and of itself is still smaller than the tag on the 12 by 12 version. So if you were to cut it apart and look at them, they'd be smaller. All right, let's see if we can find this design. Again, so we found this design. This is design 20 that they share alike, but it looked so much darker, at least to me, on the 6 by 6. And here we go, the pink snowflakes. That's another design. So we're up to 21. Now let's see if we can find this Advent design. Yep, and here we go. Here is the 22nd design. So we have a little advent, and again, if you were to cut it apart on the 6x6 and cut apart the 12x12, the advent on the 12x12, those little squares would be bigger than they are on the 6x6. But it all depends on your project and whether you need it like that or not. So let's see if we can find these snowflakes, which actually I don't think I did. I think that's, again, I flipped through this so many times trying to see if I could find the same snowflake design with the red background and all straight and a pattern. Kind of reminds me of a sweater, but no, I did not find it. Now I know you're looking here and seeing like, hey, that's the same exact design, but it is actually not. Now, if you were to rewind the video or go back to the beginning of the paper pad, that is actually the second design in the book, and it's dark. This design right here on the 12x12 is actually like stripped of its color. So it's, while it looks the exact same, the color is actually different. So they stripped the color. I don't know if they desaturated it or if they turned the contrast up or whatever, but whatever it is, when you look at this page is a lot pinker than the other design, which was a lot redder. So that is not actually a new design or whatnot. It's just a color, it's just a new coloring of the other design. So I will say that for my count, I'm not going to count it, and it will just be, it seems like I get to the back of this book and there are no more designs in the smaller book. All of these designs are new designs. So what did we learn with this compare and contrast? Well, we learned a lot. So it seems like in the bigger books they have they'll have some kind of gold, or they're willing to have gold. I feel like I've seen the small ones that have gold, but either way, you won't see the gold in the 12x12 and the 6x6. At least so far, that's what I'm seeing. Also, was if you go back to the beginning of the video, you can see where there was 29 designs in the big one, and I think 22 designs in the small one. Yep. So they shared a lot of designs, but you'll get there are some designs that they don't share. So that's something that we've learned. We've also learned that the 12x12 are going to be, for the most part, they're going to be one-sided, and the small ones are going to be two-sided. And what else have we learned? We've also learned that they don't always translate. So like with that tag page, some of them are the same and some of them are not, or some of them are in the 12x12 and some of them are not. So yeah, I mean, I think overall I've learned a lot about these paper pads, and I don't think either one is better than the other. Now, I said there were 22 designs, but I did see where I realized that the difference was like they'd have the same design, but one would be gilded, or one will have the gold and one would not. And I'm going to add the 23rd design here in just a second, when I realized that what was gold on the first page is actually just pink here. Everything there was pink, whereas it was gold if you open up the book again. So yeah, that was actually 23 designs. So now we need to answer the question, is it worth it to get both? And I think that it could be, especially depending on how you craft. There are some times where you'll want something double-sided. Like if I do a tip-in card in my journal, then I might want the double-sided stuff on the small paper pad. There are other times where if I'm scrapbooking, then I probably only need one side. So I do think it depends, but I'm a little bit of a paper hoarder, so I might get both. But anyway, if you made it this long, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps grow my channel. So I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.